Faraday's law of electrolysis. Faraday's law of electrolysis. The first law states that the mass of an element discharged during electrolysis is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity passing through it. The mass is directly proportional to the Q, which is the quantity of electricity passing through it. So mathematically, Faraday's law of electrolysis is simply saying Q equals IT, quantity of electricity passing through it. But remember that mass is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity passing through it. That is the first law of electrolysis. The mass of an element discharged during electrolysis is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity passing through it. But this Q, which is measured in coulomb, is equal to IT. This I is current in amperes, while T is time in seconds. Don't forget, Q is measured in coulomb, which means this whole thing now will be measured in what? Coulomb. The funny thing is that a question in electrolysis doesn't even specify current of this, current of that. They will just give you value. They may say 10A in 2 hours. It is left for you to know that current here is measured in amperes. That 10 is actually the value for that current. While that T, which is 2 hours, is time, which you must convert to seconds. Here, you don't use any other thing except time in seconds. You should know how to convert from minutes to seconds or from hours to seconds. And I believe it's just very simple. Multiply by 60, because 60 seconds make 1 minute. That is very, very simple. Now, there is another important formula I would like to share with you. That time we were discussing electrochemical cell. There is a formula we use to calculate the standard electrode potential of both half equations, which is a standard electrode potential of cell equals standard electrode potential of the cathode minus standard electrode potential of the anode. This formula is very, very important when we are dealing with calculations in electrochemical cells. They will give you some values, how to calculate the standard, E0 is called standard electrode potential. It is that of the cathode. If you know actually that cathode in electrochemical cell is positive, while the anode is negative, don't forget that. While the opposite is the case when we are talking about electrolytic cell, you will get every answer. You get every question as easy as possible. Now, let's take an example of electrolysis calculation. So, if M equals Q and Q is this, which is M now equals EIT. This E is a constant for electrochemical constant. So you substitute Q now. So since Q is IT, so M equals EIT. So if you want to get that constant, it will become M divided by I over T. So this formula is very, very important. And don't forget in electrolysis, the number of electrons equals Faraday. That is, number of electrons is equivalent to Faraday. It's just an abbreviation, but I hope it's clear. Number of electrons equals is equivalent. Look at the sign very clearly. It's equivalent to Faraday. And 1 Faraday, this is not equal, it's 1 Faraday. 1 Faraday equals 96500 coulombs. Don't forget that everything you learned in redox reaction will play a major role here. If you are balancing any equation there, any number of electrons will be equivalent to the Faraday. Which means if we have 2 Faradays, it should be 2 times 96500. Don't forget, this thing will help us in the subsequent calculation, which we will deal with in the next video.